2 months into the open ocean, the crew had made a decision. If land did not appear within 3 days, they would throw their captain into the sea. Their bread had gone hard as stone. Their water had begun to rot, and the man they wanted to kill stood on the deck with no fear on his face at all, because he was certain his numbers were right. But he was wrong, and being wrong would change the world. His name was Christopher Columbus, a weaver's son from Genoa who spent his boyhood on the docks, dreaming of his own route to the Indies. Educated Europe already knew the Earth was round. The real question was its size. Columbus made the world too small. Trusting the maps of Toscanelli, he placed Japan just 3,000 miles west of the Canary Islands. The true distance was over 12,000. 17 centuries earlier, a Greek named Eratosthenes had measured the Earth almost exactly, and Columbus ignored him. First, he took his plan to Portugal. The king's own experts studied it and returned a single verdict. He had shrunk the world, and any ship sailing west would starve long before Asia. For years, the courts of Europe called him mad. Then, in 1492, Spain conquered Granada, and Queen Isabella finally said yes, willing to pledge her own jewels to pay for it. 3 ships were chosen: the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. On the 3rd of August, 1492, about 90 men sailed from the Spanish port of Palos toward a horizon no one had ever crossed. Some kissed their children goodbye, believing they would never return. The first days were kind. Then the ocean simply would not end. The bread turned hard as stone, the water green and foul, and rats moved openly across the decks. They crossed a sea choked with weed, thick as a floating meadow. And then the compass needle began to drift off north, the last thread of certainty gone. Columbus knew that fear, left alone, would become mutiny. So he lied. Each day he recorded the true distance in a private log and told the crew a smaller one. By the 9th of October, 70 days in, their patience broke. Turn back, they told him, or be thrown into the sea. He asked for 3 days. Reluctantly, they agreed. The very next day, the sea began to change. A green branch drifted past, its leaves still fresh. Then a piece of carved wood, shaped clearly by human hands. That evening, small birds circled the ships. And around 2 in the morning, a lookout on the Pinta saw a dark shape on the horizon and screamed the word they had waited 2 months to hear. Land! Men wept. On the morning of the 12th of October, 1492, Columbus stepped onto the shore and planted the flag of Spain in the sand. The people who had already lived there for thousands of years watched in astonishment. Certain he had reached the Indies, he called them Indians. The name was wrong by thousands of miles, and yet it stuck and is still used today. In the end, his great calculation was both true and false. True because sailing west did bring him to land. False because that land was not the Indies. It was a whole continent no one had counted on. He set out to correct a single line on a map. Instead, by being wrong, he redrew the entire world. If you would like more history told from the record itself, follow along.